It's the hottest holiday gift around right now. The Hey Diddle Diddle Rice Up the Middle t-shirt. It's available right now with free shipping at PressBoxOnline.com. And welcome back to Inside PressBox. Boy, did we get that up fast. Time now for our Yuengling Lager Photo of the Week. And as always, taste the quality of the 180 years of family-owned and operated tradition brews into every single bottle of Yuengling. PressBox photographer Sabina Moran snapped this shot of Ray Rice as he made that spectacular 4th and 29 catch and run last week against the Chargers. That play and Ray Rice were the buzz after the game and all week long, but the Ravens weren't the only ones thankful for Ray Rice last week. Our inside PressBox reporter Dorian Craft caught up with Ray just before Thanksgiving.
The Baltimore Ravens are in the midst of another winning season, sitting at 4-0 atop the division and in complete control of the AFC North. Though the city's primary focus has been the team's play on the gridiron, the Ravens spent the days leading up to Thanksgiving winning off the field as well by giving back to the community that loves them. Multiple players, including Ray Rice and safety Ed Reed, teamed up to extend a helping hand to families in need, serving up Thanksgiving dinners and making sure that Maryland families enjoyed the holidays.
They put me near the cupcakes. You know I should be near the grilled chicken. I'm going to have me one of these.
We caught up with running back Ray Rice at our Daily Bread, a hot meal program that every year provides more than 250,000 meals to the most vulnerable citizens in Baltimore.
It's great to be on the winning side of, winning football games, but you'll always be a winner in the community if you're able to go out and, number one, make people smile and be able to give back. But Thanksgiving is that time of year where, it's not about, how much you make or none of the earnings. It's about giving back what you feel is right from the heart, and it's the best time of the year.
I think with Ray participating and saying, hey, this is important, I'm willing to donate. He donated all the food today. I think it does two things. I think it does something for the Baltimore community to say this is important, and I think it does something for our guests, just that he's taking the time out of his schedule and paying for a meal that's different from what we normally serve. How great is that?
Rice pulled double coverage this Thanksgiving, also leading the 7th annual holiday dinner at the Helping Up Mission Men's Shelter, serving a special meal for 275 men who live at and visit the shelter. In Baltimore City, I'm Dorian Craft for Inside PressBox.
He continues to amaze. Now let's head out to Owings Mills, where Derek Wattay caught up with 105.7 The Fan's Mark Zinno with this week's edition of the Beat Report.
Standing here with Mark Zinno of 105.7 The Fan. Mark, this Ravens team seems to keep it close week in and week out. Okay, but is it sustainable? Can they keep this up?
Well, through 11 games this season, they've proven that they can. I mean, the idea of winning close games in the NFL is important. Good teams win close games. There's a difference between being 8-8 and 12-4 in this league. We've seen the 10-1 Falcons get stuck in close games. We've seen the Houston Texans, who were the best team in the AFC, get stuck in close games. Close games are more the norm in the NFL than are blowouts. So it certainly is sustainable, and as long as you keep winning them, you're going to be in the playoffs.
All right, and the defense, they started out uncharacteristically slow this season, but they seem to have come on and been a big part of the Ravens' success this year. What are they doing differently?
Well, they're stopping the run better. That's the first thing. They're also, the pass rush has become a lot better. They're increasing that as well. They're getting to the quarterback more, and good teams that play deep into the playoffs into January are good at stopping the run and can get to the quarterback. You look at the Giants last year who won the Super Bowl. Those are the two things they did the best. Their secondary wasn't great, but they stopped the run and they got to the quarterback. So that's a good recipe for success as they go forward.
Now, speaking of getting pressure on the quarterback, there's a lot of talk about Ray Lewis returning as possibly as early as mid-December. What would the return of Ray Lewis mean to this football team?
Well, obviously the emotional leader that he is and what he brings to the team on different levels other than football are unmeasurable. So having him back would certainly be good. But you look at this team, and we found out today that since the bye, the Ravens have given up the fewest points in the league, and that's all been without Ray Lewis. So you wonder what kind of effect it will have on the defense for him to come back in. Will players like Jameel McClain and Danielle Ellerby continue to flourish? Will Paul Kruger, who now has the benefit, too, of Terrell Suggs being back, continue to have the same role and same effect that he's had if Ray Lewis returns? I think the team is better with Ray Lewis. They're certainly not worse with Ray Lewis. It's just a question of how everybody else will react to having him back.
All right, and finally, they take on Pittsburgh this week. Again, this time at home. What's your prediction for this week's game?
Well, it really all depends on who starts at quarterback. If anybody watched some of that Cleveland game against the Steelers with Charlie Batch, they're not very good. And if Ben Roethlisberger somehow can play in this game, it'll be a very tough game, one that I think the Steelers certainly can win. But if it's Charlie Batch, it's all Ravens.
We've seen both of those guys obviously before. We've seen Charlie, and we played against him, and we know Ben. So I think what we'll do is we'll defend their offense, and what you really have to focus on, I think, is defending the offense and the weapons they have in the offense. The running backs, Heath Miller, the wide receivers, name them, every one of them is just a huge threat, and that big physical offensive line, tackle to tackle run game, and then Mendenhall can tackle, but he can take it to the sideline at any time too. So, that's the focus more than the quarterback is defending their offense and playing against their team, because they are a great team.
Heading into this week's game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Ravens currently hold a commanding 3-game lead in the AFC North. But as Coach John Harbaugh said during his press conference today, there's no such thing as a comfortable lead in the NFL.
Comfort is not the word that comes to mind. Competitive, confront, not comfort comes to mind. So no, we have no comfort. Just because they had a number of turnovers, or they haven't played great the last 2 weeks, doesn't change who they are as a football team. It's still the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in here, and they're a great football team.
And speaking of those Steelers, if you're going to the game, you need to stop by the PressBox Touchdown Zone, the corner of Sharp and Ostend Streets, for your pregame tailgating. Got tons of great food, including a variety of Roma sausages. That's Ed Reed's favorite. There's a full bar stocked with plenty of Stoli and Sailor Jerry spiced rum, as well as Bud and Bud Light. We've also got you covered with a no-fee ATM. Thanks to our friends at Geico, you can spin the prize wheel with Jack FM and win cold weather gear from 180s. We even have flat screen TVs on site, so you won't miss any of the 1 o'clock games. The PressBox Touchdown Zone is the best pregame event, and it's only 2 blocks from the stadium at the corner of Sharp and Ostend Streets. So stop by and say hello. And we'll be right back to wrap things up right after these messages. Inside PressBox is presented by Friedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing the wrong lender. Go to Friedmont.com now for all of your mortgage needs.